So it has to start from her saying, yes, I'm interested in meeting this guy. I like him. I like the way he looks. I like where he lives. I like his style, whatever it is. And then we add her into the group of women that he's going to be talking to. And then they will eliminate themselves automatically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It sounds confusing, but it's actually incredibly simple. Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Stryker.
My name is Luba.
Now, we have identified two things that will fast track you to finding a girlfriend, a long-term relationship, or even a wife overseas if you want to have a woman that is let's say, the best possible option for you. And those two things are exposure.
Motivation.
And motivation.
It's like in Spanish and Russian they have this E.
Yeah. So in motivation. So we believe that these are the two key elements that you need to think about, right? If you're going to be doing this, right? And we're going to tell you some reasons why, and why some guys take a different route, and why it never ever works out for them in this video here today. So if this is your first time here, we are the co-founders of Heart Rocket, which is an international matchmaking agency where we help guys from the West meet, date, form long-term relationships leading into marriage with women from Eastern Europe.
Check the links below. There is a bunch of different stuff like our Telegram community, forum for the guys, and
etc.
So
yeah, okay. So let's talk about these two secret hacks that'll put things on slightly easier mode. When it comes to trying to find a woman that is right for you, we believe there's only really one approach to this. And when I say right for you, like the best possible option for a woman, the woman that shares your same goals, and shares your values as well, or has values that are not going to contradict with yours, it's going to cause problems later on in the relationship, right? So, and that is to have exposure to multiple women in a short period of time, as many women as possible that you can handle, right? I mean, there's obviously a limit to how many women you can speak to at the same time before it gets a little bit ridiculous.
Here I want to clarify that to not be banned from YouTube, that we offering like to date multiple women. Having multiple options and dating multiple women, it's two completely different things, right?
Yeah.
So by having multiple options and being able to communicate with a certain amount of ladies for the introduction, for the first time, in a short period of time.
Yeah, when you're, I mean, in Red Pill, it's, you know, they call it plate theory, which is spinning plates, having, you know, multiple options. We've taken that kind of from, well, I've taken that kind of from there, but not to that extreme, right? So we don't, you know, advocate for just sleeping with as many women as possible, because it can cause all kinds of problems along the way. But speaking to and having communication with and having interaction with multiple women, many different women at the same time, here's what will happen. Is that, well, I'll say this, a lot of men, they get a little bit overwhelmed with, oh, I need to choose one, I need to, you know, make sure I need to eliminate one, I need to eliminate, how many do I eliminate? Like, here's the key, right? Here's the secret, is that they will eliminate themselves, right? Because if you're speaking to multiple women in a short period of time, some of them are going to be more responsive than others. Some of them are going to seem more caring than others. Some are going to be more interested in you and what your life is about and what your goals are and what your future is going to be than others. And then they'll automatically eliminate themselves, because you'll be able to see which ones are going to be more invested in you going forward. Right?
We're calling it having like a base of comparison, because when the guy is talking to, like, most of our clients are the guys who either divorced, so it means that they've been married for 20 years before, so they haven't been dating for a long time. It's a younger guys who don't have a big
they don't want to date in the West.
They don't want to date Western women, but they don't have big experience. Or it's the guys who, for example, like in his mid-40s, and maybe he was dating, but he was more focused on his career, so he also kind of doesn't have a big dating experience. So that's why for us it's like it was fundamental to give, like, to explain, like we do coaching with the guys, right? We put them on the mock dates, we try to explain them how it works, how they should be, but we are learning them how they should act on these dates. But they don't know, we answer all of the questions, but we definitely can't predict all the situations that the lady will respond with. So that's why, to be able to learn that, the only option you can get is like to talk to multiple ladies and really see. And we have a great example for that. I will quickly share here. So we have a guy who been dating, like, who was on our tour. Before, we was living in Ukraine and we was doing tours, but it's the same as our Rocket Match, just like Rocket Match is Zoom's online. So anyway, he met multiple ladies, and the first lady that he met, he likes a lot, and he said like, Luba, and it happened a lot, he said, Luba, I don't want to go anywhere, like I just want to stay here, like I like everything. But I said like, let's try, we need to go further, we have a tour, we have a program, you know, we have a date set up, let's try. So he was dating multiple like different ladies for the first time, somebody he liked better, somebody he didn't want to interact anymore. And so the very last lady that he was meeting in a different city, he also liked a lot, and the connection between them was like super strong, and it happened like in a very like a few hours of our meeting. And when we were going back, because he was flying back from another city, I was following him to send him home. He met again with the lady number one, and he was like, he said, Luba, like I feel bad because I have these two like incredible women, like I don't know what to do, I never did it before, I feel bad that, you know, I've been with these two ladies. So I told him just relax and go home and stay in touch with them. So the bottom line of this story is that within 2 weeks of him getting home, the one lady who was in one city was talkative to him, but not really, like he was sending her a bunch of photos, but she didn't like it. She said that she doesn't have memory on her phone and blah, blah, blah. Another lady was absolutely into this communication, loved his videos, loved his photos, know all the name of his family, and everything was great. And they end up marrying. So if he would choose one, if he would think, no, I need to choose one, I don't want to have this multiple option, what would be his result? We don't know, because like he may choose like the wrong lady and it will not work out. Or even if he would choose, for example, the lady that he ended up marrying, maybe if he only have her, he would also like maybe not cherish that much her comparing to somebody else, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different dynamics that come into this, you know, especially when you're going into another culture as well, because the guy doesn't understand like, what's the norm for that culture? Are they supposed to be this particular way? Well, the only way to find out is by comparing them. But the other thing that's equally important when it comes to like the easy mode, doesn't matter if you're moving to that country or whether you are going to that country and then bringing a woman back to your own country, is to make sure that there is motivation there. Right, the right motivation, and some of that motivation comes through with the first point, which is exposure, right? To see which woman is the most motivated to do it. It's all good and well like talking to a bunch of women, but if they're not interested in moving to your country or, you know, having children, for example, or starting a family or something like that,
not following the same views and values that you.
Yeah, so the motivation part is that like she's motivated to be in a relationship with you, because otherwise, what is the point, right? What is the point of dating multiple women and not dating women that are motivated to be in a relationship with you? Now, I just want to add here, though, just because a woman is motivated, so we have, I don't know, like 1,500 women in our database at the moment that the guys can have a look at and see who they want to date. They're all motivated, but that doesn't mean that they're motivated for anything or anyone at any time. So they still have to have their own standards or their own, what they would consider to be a reasonable relationship. And those standards we don't know until they start dating, right? They may give a no straight away and say, I don't want to meet this guy. Okay, great. Don't waste his time. There's no point. You know, maybe another guy will come along. So the motivation starts from here. So it has to start from her saying, yes, I'm interested in meeting this guy. I like him. I like the way he looks. I like where he lives. I like his style, whatever it is. And then we add her into the group of women that he's going to be talking to, and then they will eliminate themselves automatically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It sounds confusing, but it's actually incredibly simple, and it works very well.
Very important two things. One thing that you said, that really they're motivated. So when you go to the matchmaker, the narrative is there. So the first, like the base, that the lady, it's not the lady that you met at the club, or it's not the lady that you met somewhere that you don't know. Does she has a boyfriend? Does she even interested in marriage, or she is child free or whatever? Like this is the base where you can know for sure that she's looking for a relationship. Stryker is right. It doesn't mean that she's desperate and she will be with anybody. She's motivated for the relationship. It does not necessarily mean that she's motivated, you know, to be in a relationship with you, unfortunately, because we do have situations when the guy was talking to the lady, for example, and like the communication didn't go well, and he say, oh, she's like this and this and this, of course, like everybody blame the opposite part, but then she met another guy and like everything is perfect there, and we have this story. So for this guy, he would say, oh, this lady was not motivated. I disagree. She was not motivated, in particular this situation in him, but it doesn't mean that she's not motivated.
So these two elements work so well together if it's in the right scenario, because you could, I mean, for sure, you could go to Thailand, or you could go to, you know, whatever country, it doesn't matter, And you go to a nightclub, and if the ratios are up and there's plenty of women there, you're having a huge exposure to women in that nightclub. But you have no idea what those women are there for. They may be prostitutes in these nightclubs. They may be in relationships. They may not be interested in you. So just having exposure by itself, I don't believe is enough. You need to have exposure to women that are motivated. Otherwise, you could certainly go to clubs every weekend. And there were clubs in Ukraine. There's clubs in Thailand, Colombia, where half of the women in the club are prostitutes. Their motivation is just to have a client for the night, right? So it's about putting yourself into a position where the woman that you're being exposed to are motivated to form a relationship. And these two things together is the reason why it works with our clients. So those two things there, just think about them if you're going overseas, right? To look, overseas for an overseas wife or girlfriend or something like that. Just think about those things first, right? Because I know that a lot of guys think that they can go to, say, Thailand and there's plenty of women everywhere, but, they go to a place where there's a bunch of bar girls and they've already got boyfriend, they've already got the 3 kids to someone else, and it's a mess. Just think about the motivation part about it. It's like they don't work. They don't work as efficiently separately. They work most efficiently together. Anyway.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.